Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the Front Street Crips. The Front Street Crips are coming out of Watts. Their hood stretches from Central Ave to Avalon Boulevard between 103rd Street to 108th Street. The Front Street Crips originated over 40 years ago and have been active ever since. The Front Street Crips consists of several cliques, such as 103rd, 104th, 105th, and 108th Street. The Front Streets are known to wear two teams to represent their hood. They wear the Florida Marlins gear and the San Francisco Giants gear to rep Front Street. The Front Street Crips were once close allies with the Backstreet Crips, but their close relationship would later change and become a fierce rivalry that has been going on for decades. This rivalry has caused both gangs to lose members on both sides and caused a lot of innocent people to lose their lives since the beef started. This beef was so far gone, there probably will never be peace between the two gangs. Some of the Front Street allies are the Great Street Crips, the Fudgetown Mafia Crips, the Avalon Gangster Crips, and a few Compton Crip gangs. Some of the Front Street rivals are the Bebop Watts Bishop Bloods, the Circle City Power Rules, Hacienda the Village Bloods, and the Bounty Hunter Bloods. The Front Streets have even had past flare-ups with the PJ Watts Crips after a Front Street got shot in their projects. And like I mentioned before, they beef heavy with the Backstreet Crips. But with that being said, let's get into some cases. On April 4th, 2003, Squeak and Lakeisha left Squeak's house on 103rd Street and Front Street's turf. Squeak was from Front Street. As they were walking to his car, our car pulled up and two dudes bounced out and started shooting at Squeak. Lakeisha ran off and the man yelled, "Get her ass too." They chased after her and shot her. Lakeisha was shot in the arms, back, and the wrist, but she survived. Squeak lost his life taking 2 shots to the head. May 25th, T-Bone from Front Street was walking on Central Ave when he was shot in his leg. He told the police what car the shooters were shooting from and later gave a statement. August 10th, Lakeisha went to a party on 105th Street with a Front Street Crip named Andre. At the party, several shots would be fired. Andre was shot in the hand and another person at the party was shot, but both survived. Lakeisha would tell the police that she seen a gray Nissan speed off and do the shooting. Damn, Lakeisha must have been a jinx, because every Front Street Crip she was with got shot. Andre would later be interviewed, and he told the police that a Front Street Crip named Rico drove a gray Nissan. Andre said he got into an altercation with Rico, and Rico had been beefing with several Front Street Crips in the past. The police got a search warrant and went to Rico's home, and you won't believe what this asshole did. The police found a letter of him addressing how he took the life of Squeak, and how he got one person, and he had 5 more lives to take. Cell phone towers were even pinning Rico's phone to the shooting of T-Bone. Andre would go back on his statements, but they were already recorded and used in court. So Rico received 57 years to life. On March 17th, 2005, Nerese and her sister D-Leash were leaving Locke High School through a gate that opened onto Avalon Boulevard. D-Leash was way ahead of Nerese. Nerese heard 5 to 6 shots and seen a Backstreet Crip she knew as Scooby running from the scene, then jumping into a car and driving away. D-Leash was caught in a crossfire and was shot in the head. Unfortunately, she lost her life. Scooby was later identified by several witnesses and was later arrested. At first, Scooby would say he was just a witness and the passing car was the shooter. Guess all that pressure hit, so Scooby started crying and whimpering and telling everything in that damn interrogation room. He admitted that he said he was standing on Avalon Boulevard when a Front Street Crip drove by and started chunking up his hood. Then he said the Front Street member pulled out a strap and fired at him, so he fired once back. He said the Front Street Crip fired at least 3 times, but he denied shooting D-Leash. Scooby was still found to be the shooter and was sentenced to 65 years to life. On August 26, 2009, Andreas, Daniel, and Eric were outside talking on 107th Street around 11 p.m. when a car drove by. Around 8 minutes later, the same car drove by, then multiple men hopped out firing at the group. Andreas and Daniel were shot multiple times, but they both survived. Andreas would later pick 2 Front Street Crips named Will and Perry out as the shooters. Will's lawyer presented he had no DNA or wasn't caught with anything, which later got him acquitted. Perry was found guilty and received life. In October 2009, Sherry was watering her grass outside her home when she was approached by a man who tried to strike up a convo. This led to him saying, "I'm Young Watts. This is Front Street Crip. This is my hood." He then asked Sherry where was she from. She replied that she didn't bang. She was big and she dressed like a dude, so he asked her if she was a man or a female. She replied, "I'm a female, bro." Yes, Young Watts didn't like Sherry's reply because she straight fired on her. This led to an altercation and Sherry's friend ended up breaking up the fight. Young Watts said, "Yeah, I'll be back." Sherry, her friend, and her parents drove around looking for Young Watts. They found him, and I guess they gave him a citizen ass whooping, because they beat his ass, leading to him running and saying, "I'm gonna be back, I'm gonna get my homies." About a month later, in November, young Watts came back to Sherry's house looking for her. This led to him airing out the house and shooting at the house multiple times. Sherry would later identify young Watts, and he was later sentenced to 35 years. On April 25th, 2010, Dante was walking on 105th Street and McKinley Avenue in Front Street's turf. He was from the Avalon Gardens. Those two gangs are not rivals, and he was cool with a few Front Streets, so he had no problem walking through their turf. A Nissan Altima drove by Dante, which Dante seen inside the car was a familiar face. It was a man named Chuck from Backstreet Crips with multiple people inside the car. Dante walking through Front Street's turf. He knew that Chuck must have thought he was from Front Street, so he tried to get his attention and let him know that he wasn't from Front Street. But Chuck and multiple men bounced off the car and started firing at Dante, hitting him multiple times. Dante later identified Chuck as the shooter, but Dante would later recant all his statements and failed to appear in court. Chuck was still sentenced to 25 years to life. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.